All right, guys, I want to break down your restaurant marketing funnel in plain English so you can start generating more covers, more revenue, and have more delighted guests coming into your restaurant and talking highly and spreading the word about your restaurant more and more. All right, guys, if you don't understand how your marketing funnel works for your restaurant, this episode is going to fix all of that. Okay, a lot of restaurants out there, guys, and you're probably one of them. There's a lot of spray and pray tactics going out there. Let's just throw something out there. Let's see if it works. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll figure something else out. That's not quite the most efficient way to run and operate your marketing systems for your restaurant, right? So one of the things we have to look at is, A, what are the steps of your marketing funnel? And B, where are your guests getting clogged in that funnel? And C, how do we figure out how to unclog that and make more of a seamless guest experience for them to get them to purchase, come back for more and more, and, rave about your restaurant. So the one great thing about funnels is if you get an understanding of what they are and the levels of them, you can see right away where people are getting stuck, right? And one of the things that I've learned over the 16 years of doing this is once you get that clarity, the fix is pretty simple, to be honest. I heard this saying and it really hit me. It was, when a plumber comes in and charges you $10,000 for a service and you have the itemized bill there and it says $500 for the pipe and $9,500 to figure out which pipe need to be replaced in order to fix the problem. That's what funnels could do for you if you understand them clearly and how they operate for your business. And we're going to get into that today. So let's go. All right, top of the funnel, guys, awareness, right? How are people finding out about your business, about your restaurant, about your shop, whatever it is, right? Like, how are they figuring out? And I'll give you a quick example. You could do the influencer route. You could do the paid campaign route on social media. I'll give you the one example that stands out and it's top of mind right now. Burger and Butcher, where I live in Sparta, New Jersey. It's a burger shop. It's a smash burger shop. And I went in there Saturday to try to grab a burger real quick, and I couldn't believe it. I had to walk out. The place was mobbed because it was stacked. And they lean heavily into the influencer marketing strategy. And if you go to their Instagram feed, 98% of it, it's all influencer posts. But they figured it out. They're in an obscure town in northern New Jersey, and they need people from other areas commenting and posting about their stuff in order to drive that attention and awareness to their shop. And let me tell you something. If you look at their reviews and you look at the views of the posts and the interactions, you'll see that it's working great for them because each post has almost 5-figure, view counts, and there's a ton of engagement. And I see people talking about it in my feed, and it's not even the Burger and Butcher page that's being featured. So huge shout out to them for picking a strategy of awareness and running with it 100%. Another example is the paid ads route. I think a lot of restaurants are hesitant to use paid ads because they don't have the right creative to run as an ad, and that's the problem. So one of the strategies I use all the time is, and we're using it for Rails right now, is let's take a look at your Instagram feed. Let's look at one of your Instagram reels that are doing really well, and then just run it as an ad. So we found one, and I set up the ad, and I let it run. So we set a budget of $12 a day, and we're getting 28 cents per click conversions, right? We're getting thousands of views, and we're getting tons of reservations because I can track that open table reservation link because I customized it in the ad. So when they click on it and book the reservation, I know that that reservation came from that ad. This is huge. 28 cents a click. I'll pay that all day long. We've been running the app for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it's bringing in tons of reservations. So guys, this stuff works. You just got to have the strategy behind it. So another great awareness piece and strategy to amplify that awareness. All right, the next level of the funnel as we get down the funnel is the engagement phase, right? So how are we interacting with our guests online, offline, in the restaurant, out of the restaurant, on our social media pages? I'll give you another quick example. So Rails had a Camus wine dinner event recently, and not only did we shoot all the footage for it that we're going to create some more polished video production for it, but listen, I was there. I whipped out my phone. I logged into the Rails Instagram account and I started taking behind the scenes action, and I started putting polls in the Instagram Reels, and people were loving it. Like, we would post an Instagram story in the kitchen, and like within 15 minutes, there'd be like 600 views. and like their audience is really obsessed with them, and everything that we post, it really hits. Why? Because Rails has done a very good job with connecting with their guests and giving their guests what they want. So we have a really clear understanding who their guests are. So when we post behind the scenes stuff like this of events, it really resonates. It really connects. And I think there's a little sense of FOMO there, and they want to be part of the next event. So what do? Is I created a bunch of different stories that had behind the scenes shots. And then the last story I posted for the day was, if you want to be invited to the next event, text us this word to this phone number and get on our VIP list. And when I checked the next day, we had over 100 people sign up for that text list. That's marketing smarter. And again, it's not that hard, but it's just thinking of this stuff ahead of time, right? And understanding the levels of the funnel, so you know what to throttle and what you know, and you know what to kind of pull back on. Next level of the funnel, guys, it's the conversion phase, right? It's getting them to book a reservation, getting them to sign up for a special event. That is so important, because otherwise they're just stuck in like a holding pattern. And that's another thing that I see quite often is I see a lot of content going out, but it never really asks the audience to do anything. So they're just consuming this entertaining content, but they're not really taking action. I always say, if you don't ask the question, the answer is always no, right? It's the same thing here. If you're not asking them to book a reservation, chances are they're not going to do it. So another example of how I do this is in the Instagram stories. What I'll do is I'll post a really cool piece of creative that showcases a open table review, right? 5-star review. Then the next post, I'll put like a beautiful picture of one of their dishes, right? And then the next post, I'll put another beautiful picture of maybe a cocktail, and then I'll have that link sticker that you can put in the Instagram story that has a link out to my customized open table link that says, book your reservation now. Bam, they click it, takes them to open table. That reservation's coded because I know it came from Instagram. We can start tracking it. Simple, easy, and drives that call to action to a sale. All right, last part of the funnel, guys, down the bottom is loyalty and follow-up. Again, this is so crucial. There's so much money to be made in follow-up, and there's so much money to be made with existing guests. We're leaving so much money on the table if we don't have a system that follows up with guests once they come in. Now, good news is a lot of these reservation platforms have these automations you can set up that once you set them up, they do it on their own. So we have that. If anybody sets books a reservation at Rails through Open Table, I have that automation set up there. But let's say it's a walk-in, or let's say they call and make a reservation and they bypass Open Table. How do we get that information into a follow-up sequence? So it's very important. We have a system in place at Rails that we can do that. Because even if we take that reservation, say over the phone, we might be able to plug them into Open Table and get them registered. But if they don't have an Open Table account, we have a backup plan. What's the common saying out there? The money's in the lists, right? So one of the things I focus on when I'm working with clients is how can we build up your email list? How can we build up your SMS text lists? Because those lists are gold. That's data that you own. It's not rented. You know, I always tell people, social media guys, that's rented real estate. But when you own a list with contact emails and phone numbers, that's gold, right? So building that list and creating automations, creating follow-up sequences is so important because staying on top of mind is how you get those customers to come back. I'll give you another great example. Pizza One in Northern New Jersey here. They got 3 locations, phenomenal place, great friends with the owner, Dante. He's got an email marketing campaign that goes out every Friday morning like clockwork, 9 a.m. And my wife's always a sucker for this damn thing because almost every Friday we're going to Pizza One for dinner with the little guy because he knows how to hit us. So he sends out that email 9 a.m. It's got his specials for the weekend. They look super awesome because he has a dedicated team that does his videos and his content. And every time we get the email, my wife's like, look how good this looks, right? Let's go for dinner. We're taking Dante, right? My little guy, my 8-year-old. And we go. So that works. And he does it like clockwork. Another client of mine, Anthony Franco's Pizza, they have a really cool SMS text strategy that we set up. So what we do is we create a little bit of FOMO on slower nights. So if we see a slower night approaching, we'll send an SMS blast out that says, first 8 people that respond to this email, this text, free pizza on us, free large pie, plain. Like that, boom, right? And then what happens is when they call, we put a little restriction in there. They have to buy something else. They can't just order the pizza, right? So you got to set this up properly. You don't want to lose your shirt. But we have little disclaimers involved. So when they do hook into that offer, you know, it makes sense for both of us, right? Because we're not in business to give away the farm, but we're in the business to create more revenue and use different marketing tactics to do that, right? So that one works really, really well. All right, guys. So now you understand the levels of the funnel, right? But I do want to bring this up because I say to myself, you can have the best marketing in the world, but if you don't truly care about your clients and guests, your guests and clients are really going to feel that on a subconscious level. You know, we've hired so many caterers throughout the years, my wife and I, because we love to entertain, right? And this one particular caterer comes to mind, and I just remember just like feeling a little forgotten about, feeling a little just, they don't really care about us, right? I think that they don't have that compassion, or they don't have that connection. I don't know what it is. Maybe they're you know what it is? It's very transactional with them, where versus another caterer that we use, you know, they are like family. Like they make you feel so important. They make you feel so special, whether it's a birthday party for my son or it's a milestone birthday for a family member. Like they just make you feel so good, right? And you remember that, right? So you got to think about that. You have the best funnel in the world, but if you're coming across like you don't give a shit, your guests are feeling that. And they're not going to come back because that sticks with people for a very long time. So you got to bring in that hospitality. You got to make them feel special. 2 things I always tell my clients right out of the gate, and it's this. It's anticipating the need and making people feel special. That's it. If you can master those 2 things, you're going to be fantastic. You're going to be in really good shape for years to come. All right, guys, so ask yourselves after listening to this and watching this episode, where's your funnel stuck? Do you have great food but no guests? You probably got an awareness problem. You got a lot of likes and views on your social media but not a lot of reservations? You probably got a conversion problem. You got first-time guests coming in the door, but they're not coming back and you're never seeing them again? You probably got a follow-up problem. So take a second, guys. Take out a piece of paper or take your notes out on your phone and write down what you're doing good in your funnel process and what you're not doing that well in your funnel process. And let's start to get some light shined on to those discrepancies and those deficiencies, and let's change that. So which part of the funnel needs more love? Let's figure that out. Hit me up at brandtotable.com and book a strategy call with me, and I'll sit down with you for 30, 45 minutes and really get a better understanding of your marketing needs and how we can help you level up the tools and systems, get you more focused on the operations, and have us come up with the higher level strategies and come up with the execution plans that we can help you execute and get your marketing working for you instead of against you. So you're saving time, you're saving money, you're saving energy, and your guests are happy, and you're generating way more revenue than what you're doing right now. Guys, have an amazing day. Make sure you subscribe, like, and follow the show. Make sure you hit me up on Instagram and let me know some feedback. How can I help you guys even more? If you got suggestions for topics, I'm all ears. Let's make it happen. Love you guys. I'll catch you on the next episode.